Welcome, episode 16 of the Slabbed podcast, where the grades matter, there are no rules. We got a special one. We're going to be going through some awesome auctions that ended in like the last week or so. Heritage, PWCC, video games, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and just kind of going through all of it. But first, we got to go through the spicy topic from last week. And my boy, Don Juan Julio, just went in on you, Mr. Professor Oak. He said, you're looking into it a little too much. $1.99 sale is nothing to analyze. Who cares? So if you could give us a little context on that. What is he talking about? For those of them that didn't watch last week's episode, kind of break it down for us.
Yeah. So, Don.
Don Julio.
Mr. Don. Yeah. No, I thought it was super interesting. Obviously, I'm naive or dumb or whatever, but I thought it was really interesting that I could sell a worthless card for $2 because it was a little miscut. It was a little off center, not dramatically, just a bit. It was close to the edge. It was still yellow there. It wasn't all the way cut off, and I thought it was really interesting. Someone bought it, and they were super happy. They left me a really good review. Super excited about it and stuff. So. I thought that was cool. I think $1.99. I think for most bulk sellers, I think they'd probably be happy selling bulk for $1.99. You know, honestly, I would imagine most of them would probably triple profits if they were selling for $1.99. So I thought it was cool. I thought it was something like insightful. You know, there is such a thing there. Maybe I should have auctioned it and seeing what happened. I do have a couple of others that I'm probably going to send to auction just to test it. I was going to do it last week and I forgot, so I wrote a note. I'm gonna do it. Schedule it for Thursday for a 10-day auction, and we'll see next Sunday, a week on next Sunday, where it lands. If it beats $1.99, I guess that'll help tell the backstory. But yeah, Don came at me in the comments and tried to break my heart there for a minute, and yeah, it worked. So thanks, Don. I cried.
And it wasn't just Don. It was our good old friend Dan Ketchmal Collectibles also had to take a shot at you. He said similar. He's like, I was waiting for Oak to say they sold for like $20. LOL. They snap sold at $1.99. Way undersold. Ah ha 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 ha. Is what Mr. Ketchmal said. So it was obviously there's a bunch of people that felt the same way about what you had said. And I didn't really think about it when you were talking about it, but I feel $2 is not a bit like you can't sell that card not cut like that for $2. I don't think there's a chance in the world where that thing would sell for $2. Like, what is that? That's like 20x the freaking price. Like, you're talking about whatever a 10-cent card selling for $2. Like, who cares, right? It's $2. Who gives an F? But just looking at the multiplier it did, that's all you're looking at. We're not looking at the dollar value here. So I agree with you in that sense. But yeah, $2, of course. Who gives an F? It's $2, but it was literally just a multiplier I was looking at. Be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's not bad. I just had a buddy I graded like a super cut roulette, and the thing's moving for like $50. It's like a common from I don't even remember what some recent set, and yeah, things selling great. So people are out there for them. That's for sure. It's wild for those miscuts.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering because I have a few from Pokemon Go from the same pack. They're all obviously on the same sheet, cutting machine, whatever. However they did it, it just happened to be a few in the same. I'm debating maybe sending one to auction raw and one to CGC and sending that to auction and seeing what happens. Just out of interest, really, just as like a little test. I think it's fun. I mean, it's harmless. We're talking about a couple of bucks. You know, it is cool. And when you talk about, like you say, the multiplier, I'm not worried about $2 gross. Like I literally made $1 on that. Like I made nothing. So yeah, valid point. Like I'm not fussed about, oh my god, I made $2 sale. I think that's kind of what he was thinking. It isn't. It's what you were saying. Like it's the fact that I sold a $2 card that isn't a $2 card. To me, is not worth $2. That's what I find interesting. I can say the same for selling $100 card that usually sells for 60, you'd feel excited about it, right? It's not the price point; it's the fact that you sold it for more than what it's really truly worth. I guess it's worth $2 if it's miscut. So that's what I was surprised at, that the worth is actually different to some people depending on the view of the card. Interesting.
Yeah, and just like to kind of piggyback off our discussion last week, it's crazy. Like, think of a $1 sports card, bajillions of them, and if the thing was like cut really bad, the price would be 50%, not double, which is freaking wild. Like, I think it would be really cool to have that super cut new rookie from the Red Wings. Like, that'd be insane. That'd be really cool to look at and be like, wow, this is like a quality issue that shouldn't have got through. Look at this. So I don't know. It's still really weird dynamic, the whole sports and TCG stuff. But yeah, I digress. You want to talk about our spicy topics for next week? You want to roll into yours?
Yeah, I'll go straight out. My spicy topic is, if you don't have a binder with some cards in, raw cards, you're not a true collector.
Damn. All right. No, that was solid. That was solid. So definitely good. So I gotta look at the camera here. I gotta get it real serious because I'm about to call somebody out.
Oh,
you know who you are, Nicholas. Old school Pokemon. You're a bitch. All right, moving on to the next section. We're going to be going through these auctions. Everyone down below, you got to like your favorite spicy comment for this week. Check them out. Hit the like button. Hit the dislike button. Get the upvotes. Whoever you want to talk about. You good, bro? You good?
I missed something. I don't know if I'm allowed to ask about context, but I definitely missed something.
If you might find out next week. If it's upvoted, we'll see. If not, then we'll just let it go into the wind. That's the way it goes. He's gonna know when this video is uploaded that he's a bitch. No, I'm sure.
God.
So let's get into the auction. We're gonna cut the tape right here and pick this up in a different layout. And we're back. So going through the auction. So again, just to reiterate, PWCC has a weekly auction every Sunday. There's a handful of stuff from that auction. Also, Heritage just had a video game signature auction and a trading card signature auction that went for like Thursday to Saturday. So we got a bunch of different things we're going to be looking at. Hopefully we can get through all of them and kind of just discuss kind of the different things happening in the market. And shameless plug, every Sunday I do a live stream for PWCC weekly auctions on my channel, Oak channel, my channels, all linked down below in the description. Go check them out if you want some more additional banger content. So this sold. You got to start off with the baby, everybody's favorite card in the world, Umbreon VMAX from Evolving Skies. Booster boxes are right around $400 now. $6,900 for one card. What do you think? What are you thinking?
What was the last one? Was it 12?
There was, I think, another one in between there on eBay for around 10. But yeah, I think the last PWCC was 12 grand.
What? I mean, that's a pretty significant difference. I think that goes to show, for me, what that says is that the main people really throwing money at this card have already done it with PSA 10s. Like, because there has been so many graded and sold, I think most people are probably spent up on their collection of that stuff. I think you've really got to need that extra edge of the Black Label 10 to to spend $7,000. That's the same you could buy a car for, like a couple of cars for that kind of money. You've really got to be invested in this card to spend that kind of money. And I think a lot of people have already, the ones that are intrigued by it, whether they're investing or collecting or whatever they're doing. I have literally no idea what people are doing with this card in a PSA 10, but whatever they're doing with it, I feel like most people have spent a lot of money already. Like this probably wasn't someone that's just got interested and decided to buy it like that night, right? They didn't just drop $7,000.
Yeah.
And I think most of the PSA 10s, like, people have probably been looking and buying them for a while, the ones that are interested. And every so often, someone new springs up and says, "Oh, I like that card. I'll drop $1,000 on it." It just, I mean, it's unfathomable to me. It's very hard to comprehend that someone spends $7,000 on this card, but it's happening. So, I mean, what's your thoughts? Like, how do you feel? I know you have a couple of really nice premium graded cards, should we say, like some of the real top tier stuff, 1-of-1 type stuff.
Yeah, I think this is right where it's going to be, and it's going to perpetually go down. Like you had said, like the first person who bought it was a collector of that card, probably paid top dollar because he was bidding against the other guy that probably ended up buying the other one for 10 grand. Then that guy got his cards, and then the next person in the line didn't even want to spend 10 grand, so they bought it for 7 grand here. So it's just going to continuously go down. Black labels, it'll probably settle somewhere around 4 grand, 5 grand. Similar price to where some of those crazy Charizards were. Like I can't even remember which ones, but they settle right around 4 to 5 grand, I want to say. So this will probably sit somewhere around there. But it's crazy the people that are just holding this thing, thinking the value is going to increase. They're insane. So seeing a $12,000 sale, there was no other comps like it in the world. So for a modern card, first to market paid off for sure. So yep, it's wild. But yeah, it's good. I'm gonna move on to the next one unless you got something else on that one.
No, just insanity.
This is your favorite card of all time. So this sold for more than the Umbreon VMAX, 7,500 for a gold sarcophagus from the Shonen Jump Championship Series. So I've only seen, I mentioned it in my last stream, but I had only seen like a few Shonen Jump Championship cards in real life in person. And these were awarded to usually first place, second place. Actually, I think just first place of Shonen Jump Championship tournaments, and usually it's like 1,000-person tournament, and only the winners would get these cards. So they're very limited. This is one of the more limited cards, and it's only a PSA 6. So I know there is at least I think a couple 10s out there, but literally just a couple. So you're looking at a card that when people won it, it actually was played in decks because it was so powerful, which is why it's a PSA 6, which is freaking awesome to hear that. Like, I wish Pokemon would give you a prize card that you'd actually throw into a deck. It's crazy. What do you think?
Yeah, the story and the what it is, it like just kind of overrides the company, the grade, the condition, that kind of stuff. Like the story of what you'd explained with what it is and what it signifies, and is I don't know, the epitome of, I guess, that situation. It's epitome of something that's like you would want in your collection, right? Is the people that know what that is are probably the people that would probably pay up. So I'm not surprised based on that it would fetch that kind of price. This makes a lot more sense to me than Umbreon. Much more sense.
Yeah, it's not that much more expensive, and it's only a 6, but it's kind of cool. Like, I've always thought it was cool, the aspect of getting a Champions card that he probably played in his deck because it's got that. It's probably got the ding on the top from inserting into the sleeve over and over again. I don't know. It's really cool. If I were to buy a card, I wouldn't mind a PSA 6 of something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I have some PSA 4s and 5s even. Like, not many, but I do have a couple of cards that mean a lot to me. It's just because it's the card, not so much the grade.
Yep. I'll let you talk a little bit about this bad boy.
Yeah, I mean, gorgeous, right? It's a pretty special one. We're talking about gold stars, very desirable set. Everyone likes gold stars. I mean, obviously, we know about the dogs and whatever, but this EX Holland Phantoms as a whole. I mean, there's some fantastic Pikachu's in there. There's really is some really amazing cards in this set. I like to think that. I like to think that this is like a card that people would like cherish and never want to sell. that like one of those kind of cards. It's like, now I've got it, I've spent this money, like I could just never let it go. Like that's how I envision a sale like this going. Like someone who has truly desired this card for many, many years, and now they have enough money to like, the opportunity finally came up and they have enough money and they fought for it and got it. I mean, it just reminds me of Gem Mint completing his, you know, with Ampharos. Like if I'm getting like those kind of vibes, you know, very exciting. But what about you? I mean, it's badass artwork, right?
I feel like this isn't 12 grand. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the price on it, but there's not that many gold stars above $10,000. Gold Star Rayquaza, Gold Star Charizard, Umbreon. Probably, I don't even know if Espeon is, because the Umbreon PSA 10 was like 13-ish grand. So this 12,600 to me was kind of, I didn't even look up sold listings. I could have easily done so, but I don't know, it just felt steep. But maybe it's just because a lot of them don't go for sale, and another collector popped in, was like, hey, I need another PSA 10 Gold Star. But looking at the back of this card, it doesn't look like it should be a 10. It is a 2X cert, so 2X certs could go either way for PSA 10s. This one does have a decent amount of whitening on the corners. It's insane for a $12,000 card. Actually insane. So not the biggest fan of the purchase. Seems expensive, but a badass card.
People love Gyarados. There's a lot. I don't know why I don't hear about them as much in like the Discord and a lot of the YouTuber community. Like I don't hear people talk about Gyarados a lot, but every time I sell a Gyarados card, it like instant sells. Like people buy it pretty quickly usually. So there's, I just feel like it's very desirable Pokemon. So yeah,
it's
not awake.
Definitely, it's definitely one of those weird Pokemon that just are liquid for sure.
This is my second favorite Pikachu artwork of all time. Absolutely love it.
Behind who? Behind what?
I've talked on it, so I'm not gonna go over it. It's a dumb one. Let's talk about this one. I'll show you a picture of it later. I'll pull it out. We can talk about it.
Cliffhangers like that, bro.
Let's keep them listening to the end. Let's do that.
Oh my god!
So this one is I think it's subjective, but I think it's a better birthday Pikachu artwork. I think it has more character. It feels a bit more fun, a little bit more like colorful, and less about like the hollow. And you know, is the other one feels a little more like, I don't know, like a bit more, less like dynamic and outlandish, I guess. This one just like, I mean, it's got a glass of wine. Like Pichu literally has a glass of wine next to his birthday cake. Like people don't pick up on details sometimes, but I love it. I really genuinely love this card. So for me, this is a 10, 20 grand card in a 10. Like I would not be mad about this getting some big numbers. I think it's amazing. I think sealed with the magazine, I think they're at about 1,500 if I remember right, something like that. Might have changed since I last looked. So hitting a 10, tripling your money in a 10 feels like not bad, really. Like when in reality, most of them coming out of the package are probably an 8 or a 9 or something. You know, they've been in that little sleeve thing that they're in. A 10's got to be difficult. So for me, like I honestly, I think this is a really good price. I think it's pretty solid. I mean, it's 4.5 grand, but I still think it's a solid price even for a PSA 10.
Do you know the population ballpark on this or no?
No, there is a few. I know it's not crazy low. We could check it. I haven't looked recently, honestly. I've just never I've never actually watched 10 sell because they're just out of my price range. It's just not something I've like ever really seriously contemplated buying. So I tend not to watch and follow as much of the stuff that I'm not interested in or isn't realistic.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just a tease for me at that point.
It's like population 91.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. There is a few. It's not low, but it's like a very desirable card. Like people love it. You know, it's gorgeous artwork.
Yeah, 467 graded. So it's not super easy to get a 10, like you said. Nice. No, it's expensive card. Yeah, I've obviously knew Birthday Pikachu, and that card is not really something I've ever looked at. But I thought really interesting. This next card sold for I think the exact same price, and it did. Which I thought,
red cheek.
yeah, this is a Red Cheeks first edition base set Pikachu. Actually looks like a 10, at least looking at the back corners, no whitening, which is good. $4,500 for a PSA 10 Pikachu. This is the same price as like a PSA 10 Zapdos, Hitmonchan, probably a Nidoking, all the hollows, like a handful of hollows are around that price right now. This seemed a little high to me. I don't know if you got any thoughts or have you looked at any of these or tracked them based on what you just said? Probably not.
Yeah, I've tried to pick up raw versions of it, and
Yeah.
I've had it all the time, like getting a realistic price point. They all just ridiculously overpriced for what it is. The problem with this card, if you're going to compare this Pikachu to the Natawake, the Natawake is a fantastic card. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's gorgeous artwork. It's vintage. It's right from when Pokemon began. You know, it's the first few years. You can't call it modern. Like, even though it's 2001, it's definitely vintage. And just fun, gorgeous, not a crazy amount out there. They're not flooded. You know, we're not talking about backstore promo type numbers. But this one, it's not about the artwork. It's not about the cheeks. It's not about the first edition stamp. It's what all of those combined mean, because there isn't that many and it is a little difficult. And there's people that collect variations of the base set. Not Awake, there's only that card that has the artwork. I'm not aware of another reprint of that artwork. Not that I can think of. Whereas the base set, there's a bunch. So people like to have, like, it's just that completionism thing. They got to have every variation, every type, every whatever. So that adds the premium into the base set version thing, where you can look at some of the other sets where there's a different version or there's a different error, and it's in the registry to collect it within Pikachu. And what people are like, got this one, but I don't have that one of it, or I don't have that one with that stamp missing, that kind of thing. That definitely adds into it. So I think for this, it's more the mentality behind the card than the actual card. Because if you look at it, it's just based on Pikachu, right?
Yep.
It's literally based on Pikachu. Like, if you showed this to anybody that didn't know what Red Cheeks meant, they would just think it's just a regular base set Pikachu card. It wouldn't be 4,500 card. So
the population on this one, just for those people out there, 244. So almost 3x the Not Awake, and 2,200 graded. So it's
much more people chasing it too, which
much more demand, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I would say, well, I nearly said more liquid, but I don't know if you could get more liquid than that awake. I think the difference is that it's more liquid. It's as liquid, but to more people is probably what it's got a bigger viewing pool. If you listed this and listed an That Awake on eBay, you could watch the stats. You'd have more views and more watchers on this.
Yeah,
even if it's all at the same price.
Had to throw this bad boy in there just to see where the state of the market is. Shadowless PSA 9 Charizard. I had seen some sell for $5,000, 4,800. There was a couple of older certs. This is an older cert. It doesn't look too bad based on the whitening. They both sold for the same price. Two of them sold for $3,360 in the PWCC weekly auction. Not a bad sale, all things considered, but I don't know. What do you any thoughts in this thing?
I think it's good, but I also underestimate like how negative people view the really old. This is a really old cert. It's not even an old one. This is an old cert, and I think people really do. It says some kind of negative connotation because they want the the nicer, newer matching
Yep.
label. I know you've spoken it before. You like the new one. For me, I think that's a pretty solid price for a 9. Like I don't think that's bad at all. It's unlimited, and it's a 9, so it's not the newest, it's not the oldest, and it's not the cleanest or whatever. It's not perfect, but for me, this is like the epitome of Pokemon. This encompasses everything that this exact card we're looking at right now is the reason Pokemon is successful. Not Pikachu. Like this card is what drove it. When I was a kid, this is the card that everybody wanted. Like this is what spearheaded the excitement and the fun and the reason they sold millions of packs and why they made millions of boxes. It was this. So it's hard to put a price on that, really. But in a 9 and old cert, I guess it's 3,300. I think that's a good price. Yeah.
Yeah, for perspective, I sold in the same night a 5.5 CGC for $600. So big gap there between a 6 and a 9. Crazy. Up next, I'll let you go. This is a no rarity, in case you can't see it, but this is a no rarity Mewtwo. PSA 9.
I do think Japanese is doing really well lately. I think there's more people that have turned to it since not being able to get it because they wanted it in English at a decent price, and I think that's kind of tied into actually it's pretty cool looking, and there's different artworks and there's different writing and different patterns and there's different this and that, and the sets are called different names and stuff. But a lot of people, obviously, with it being the base set, I think a lot of people associate this with being like the first Mewtwo card. There's that kind of feeling around it too. So I think it's cool. This era, obviously you got the no rarity symbol there. So there's a couple of different niches. Again, we've got the variation collectors there that need every version of it. But it's a cool card. I mean, gorgeous artwork, nostalgic. It's everything that encompasses Pokemon again. 3,100. I couldn't have told you the price. If you wouldn't have put it up, I wouldn't have been able to guess at what it was, honestly. It's not something I've recently looked at. What's your thoughts? Are you thinking that's cheap, expensive?
I don't know. Just to paint a perspective, so people, because we got a handful of different people, collectors out there, like Yu-Gi-Oh, video games, people watching us. This is basically, like Oak had said, the first TCG printing of Mewtwo. So they had Cardass, Bandai, Top Sun, kind of came possibly before this, but this is the first TCG printing. It has no rarity symbol in the bottom right corner. Came out in 1996, so 3 years before we even saw this in English, right? So the English PSA 9 first edition sold the same night for like $2,400, which was damn solid compared to sales for the last year and a half. And this sold for $700-ish more than that. So this is healthy. There's obviously the really low population on some of these. I don't even know what this is. But really low populations. For example, I think the Charizard no rarity might be a pop 4 or 5. I don't even know. Completely guessing. So not completely, but maybe I might be mixing up with BGS or something, but I'm pretty sure it was really, really low. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's an awesome price though. $3,000.
That context helps a little bit, just grabbing it for them too. So
yeah. Yep. Flame Swordsman. So
I like this one. That's a cool artwork.
Yeah, so this is a super rare from Legend of Blue Eyes. So basically the first ever booster box from Yu-Gi-Oh! In a PSA 10, newish cert in whatever the last year and a half. $1,600. And super rares, you get 4 per box. I believe it's 4. And then you get 2 ultra rares and a secret rare. So you get like 7 holographics out of 24 packs. This is very popular from the anime. Thought the price was pretty solid. Just what a beautiful card. There's not usually a whole bunch of these going through PWCC, so I kind of just wanted to highlight one of these cards. Was pretty cool to see it.
I feel like I remember watching him in the anime. I used to watch it so much. I loved it. I watched it all the time. It looks really familiar. I've never
Yeah.
seen the card before, but the Flame Swordsman does look very familiar.
Yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely almost never played in the game. 5 stars, only 1800 attack. Never if it saw play, it was just because it was like used as a utility and to get into something else. But it was pretty cool. You did me dirty on this one, dude. You did me dirty. So I'll paint a little picture for you guys. Sitting last night around 9:30 in my live chat, Professor Oaks, hey, did you know there's a pristine Zapdos up for sale? Did you know that? I was like, yeah, it's probably my, or he said it was perfect. Thought it was perfect. Wasn't wearing his glasses, I guess.
It wasn't.
And yeah, and I was like, if it's modern, I'm good. I don't even care. I don't need to buy it. And then he's like, you probably shouldn't look then, or something like that. And it ended up being this card was for sale, and at the time it was like $750. I'm like, yeah, that's a play. So last sold for PSA 10 was like right around this price, $1,500-ish dollars. And pretty much me and one or two other people just bid it up just until probably for like a 45-minute bid war back and forth until I finally walked away at 1590. It was sad to see it go, but it was not the best 10. It had a little bit of whitening here in the bottom left. Wasn't the biggest fan of it, so I have it in a PSA 10. That was kind of the inkling to where I wanted to buy it, and I just sell that one, but just kept going up. The dude was relentless. I feel like he had a good bidding, strong bidding against me. He wasn't stopping, so appreciate you for making me almost spend $1,600 last night.
Hey, you know what though? It'd be a different story if you would have won it at 6, 7, 800. That would have been a very different story. And it didn't look like it was going to go that high. You drove it up.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no. If I wasn't bidding on it, that it would have sold for pennies, probably. I don't know.
It has sold for way less. I don't think there was 2 other people bidding. I think you were up against one other person. So I mean, unfortunate. I like to think another would come up at some point, but I had to tell you about it. I mean, super exciting. I think what was most interesting for me when I saw it listed was what it says there about it being flashed at 6:30 on Tuesday morning.
Oh yeah, so it was only on there for what, 4 days?
Are you freaking kidding me?
5 days?
This card, you're gonna flash it on a 6:30 on a Tuesday morning? Like this
instead of getting the full 14 days of vision, because usually they show
the preview.
They put the previews in there a week before the auction even starts. So yeah, they definitely worked out. They still got full market.
If you weren't checking this the weekend of the ending auction, I mean, you'd have missed it. I guarantee some people would have wanted to watch, even just watch, but like, be aware of this one. It's a pretty special card.
Usually people are pretty good at letting me know when a really nice Zapdos is for sale. It's probably because it was flashed in there that people didn't get it or something, and it's pretty crazy. No, it was beautiful.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it till I don't know, maybe an hour or so before your stream started, and I debated telling you because I didn't know if you like were already looking at it and doing it, and I was like, oh, I don't want to say it in the chat, but then when you weren't looking at it, I was like, I gotta tell him just in case he does want it, but who knows? Big price though. Big price, that one.
Hell yeah. I wanted to share this one. What is the error on this? Okay, so this is just, it started at Kaiba, first edition Error Blue Eyes. It's got like a foil line going right through his face, which is pretty interesting. It's a giant print line. Which is pretty wild, but a CGC 9 first edition, so comparable to basically a base set Charizard. It comes out of a starter deck though, but these still are pretty rare. It's less than population 200 and a PSA 10, and obviously a 9 is only $1,400 versus like a 9 Charizard, which is like $2,000. Extremely affordable, which is freaking awesome. I love to see like this artwork for me is just a swift kick in the nuts. It is just super nostalgic.
I mean, it's the classic, right? I remember the moment. It'd be like the most dramatic moment in the anime. Like you just forget about everything in the world. Like when it's there, it's like all eyes on what's gonna happen next, and then it cut for the break, and I'm like, damn it. And you have to wait, and he'd come back, and yeah, a lot of memories from this guy. I'd love to own one of these cards, honestly. Whatever grade, just any grade, honestly. I think it'd be fantastic to own something like this. I should probably pick up a reprint or whatever, but yeah, I love it. Not into that era with the line going down it. I think that's gross. I'm not interested even slightly. Not for it, but the card, fantastic. Brilliant. And in a 9, I mean, it's clearly mint condition, single E condition. So,
yeah, you can get unlimited versions from 2002 for probably $20.
oh, wow. Okay. There you go.
Yeah, it's like ass cheap. It's crazy how cheap some of these are.
Yeah, I'd like one.
Yeah.
Oof.
For position only. I was talking about this one during my live stream. Never been a real big fan. I had seen Trading Card World, DFW Pokemon rip open like 15 packs at Collecticon in Dallas or Houston, one of those, just ripping them nonstop. And they're out there. They're just, I don't know, not the biggest fan. I think this price is right where this thing needs to be. I think all the ones listed for sale are probably 3x plus. But I feel like this is market for this card. It's very niche to sell in PWCC, but I don't see the value, to be honest. I think they're out there.
I'm like conflicted with myself on stuff like this because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, first of all, first thing I see is it's a BGS 9. And then I look at the card and I can't even see the Pokemon's face. Like I can't even see the artwork because it's got writing. And then I think about, okay, well, why? Like, why is that important? Like, regardless of grade, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, what is the actual card? Why would it be desirable and chase after? And I get it. Yeah. You know, it's full position only. It's not a crazy amount out there, and a lot of people don't even know what it is. So there's like a little club of people, oh, this is something special kind of thing. We should buy and keep and collect or flip or whatever. Like there's all different approaches to these packs and these cards. But when I look at this, like for me instinctively, I think that's crazy that it's worth $900. And then I think to myself that I sold special delivery Bidoof for like almost this. Like which is more crazy. For me, it's the Bidoof. Like this actually has a reason for why it should be worth money. Like the Bidoof I got for free and I sold for that much. Like it's just, I mean, it's insane. So I find it odd when I try and compare. I know it's apples to oranges, but like price points, it's fairly similar to what it was, and I could see it be worth this. I'd probably prefer it in a 10. You know, in a cleaner grade, I think I'd feel better about it. But just what it is as a whole, pretty special. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's Arbok. I mean.
Yeah, for context, conflicted. I was wrong that there is not any. I guess there are some. There's $5,000 one listed, but you can get one now. Buy it now for $1,200 for the same exact card and grade. So,
in a BGS 9.
Yep, BGS 9 on eBay right now. $1,200. Buy it now, so you could probably.
Is it this?
Show them. Oh, I didn't even look at that. It's on eBay. There
can't be that many BGS 9 Arbok FPO packs.
No, it's different. It's different.
Slab, surely.
It's a different card. Yep. So I don't know if PSA is grading these actually, because as I'm sitting here looking at these, I'm not seeing a single PSA. It's all CGC and BGS actually. Yeah.
I don't recall.
I think that's a true statement. I'm not seeing a single PSA graded one, which is pretty crazy.
Didn't CGC highlight some that they graded? I feel like they talked about it in a video or Instagram.
CGC and BGS are grading it. PSA is not.
Yeah. So it's just PSA. I know PSA are a little bit funny about some of the quickie stuff that they want to do volume, but
yeah, they're lacking some intelligence there. Obviously, these are real cards. Makes no sense. Yeah. All right. No, that's beat that dead horse pretty good. This one I thought was pretty extraordinary. Couldn't see any special reason, but this PSA 8 base unlimited Charizard ended up selling for $840. What are your thoughts, man?
You sold yours for $660.
My Shadowless 5.5 sold for $600.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I missed that it was Shadowless. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Healthy, unhealthy? What do you think about this market?
I want it to do well. I feel like it is a buoy in the water of the ocean that is Pokemon. It does feel like a little bit of a buoy there, or for the Europeans, buoy. And it I want it to. I don't want it, but I want it to do well. It's always a battle for me with base set Charizards. I just know what it is and what it signifies and what it represents, and it's exciting and it brings so many people excitement. Like the person that bought this is probably, I'd imagine, pretty overjoyed at the fact that they've just bought this. Like this isn't like a flipper probably, or someone just investing or something. A Charizard 8, like regular base set card, it's got to be someone buying it, I would think, for themselves. And I really like the idea of them being excited and overjoyed at it. And for that reason, like, I mean, it could be any price, right? So
yeah. So today, PSA 8 base set Charizard,
yeah,
sold for $465 on auction.
eBay.
Yep, that's right where I pinned it, kind of
Yeah.
because the PSA 9 had been selling for $750 to like $1,100 for like the last year and a half. So
yeah, I thought it was under 1,000.
Yep, I've seen some sell a little above, a little below, but this was the person who bought it's taking an L unless you see something special about it. To me, I don't see a black dot error. I don't see, maybe he likes the hue of the red. I don't know, but it seemed extremely expensive for an 8. Because that 460 sale seems a lot more in line on eBay for sure.
Do you think 2 people got carried away?
Oh yeah, it could definitely, yeah, for sure. It's definitely somebody that just oversight. He might have thought it said 9. I've had the error where I thought a card was first edition, ended up being unlimited. Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's tougher to see. I don't know what I was freaking smoking, but that has happened to me. So maybe they just oversight. Thought it was a 9 because that right there, 840 is like right in the sweet spot for a 9.
I mean,
crazy.
It's a good card.
Yeah. This one, I got a little challenge here for you. This is a PSA 10 Marauding Captain from Legacy of Darkness. It's probably, I don't even know what set this came out of. Like 2003 was the second year of the Yu-Gi-Oh TCG in its existence here in North America. There's like 7 or 8 different ultra rares, but it sold for $750. Now picture a $750 Pokemon card. Give me one.
Special delivery Bidoof.
What is that card in a 9?
I haven't looked recently. I'd say it's probably 400. I don't know, 300, something like that. I'd say it's probably about half, maybe
closer to. That's like close to the raw price, right? Or is the raw price? It's probably raw price is probably a little lower.
I think slightly, honestly. But because they were sealed in the pack, so that also adds a little bit of premium there. But Is the 9 like crazy low on this? Is it, or is it?
That's the story I'm trying to paint. So the 9
Okay.
for this, you're talking 75-ish dollars.
No.
Maybe 100, maybe.
Tell me what your instant thought is as a seller. Your instant thought is with that, because as soon as you said that, I thought, well, I'll just buy a dozen and try and hit a couple of tens on Kraken.
Didn't think about that, but
like that was literally my first thought. Like clearly, there's opportunity there.
I'm just gonna look it up, but yeah, the swing, and this is not just Marauding Captain. We're talking PSA 9s across the board. Like we're talking, it's crazy. It's insane. Wow. Like even Jinzo, $4,000 or $5,000 PSA 10. Look at a PSA 9, it's like barely touching $1,000. It's wow. That one's a little bit more in line with Pokemon because you look at first edition base, a PSA 10, Nidoking's like $4,500, $5,000. Then you look at the 9, it's like 800-ish or $1,000, $1,100 some days.
Decent drop,
but, it's like these old cards, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, PSA 9s just get slapped. It's insane.
Is it do Yu-Gi-Oh people like just really have to have it in a 10? Is there much less 9 collectors? Because in Pokemon, there's a lot of people that buy 8s and 9s. Like a lot of them are much like more acceptable, I guess, to buy it in a 9 in Pokemon is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and I stand corrected. Last sold auction for this card in PSA 9, $38. $49, $38. Those are the last two. Buy it now, best offer under $50. So
that's ridiculous.
This PSA 10 price might be a little high, but I feel like it's about in line, and it makes sense in my head. A lot of, like, even this card here, I have I'm going to mention it. It's a Breaker, the Magical Warrior from Magician's Force. This card in a 10 is probably almost $2,000, I would say. But in a 9, I'm talking $200. Maybe. And it's not going to be very liquid at all. So it's the change, like it's like almost sports cards type. Like it's crazy. Like when you pull the 9 in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like a death sentence unless you're talking LOB first ed. But even then, right now, those cards are dog cheap.
What about packs? What about packs for this? I mean, if we're talking about these kind of, well, they're like $50, $60 packs, or they're like 100, 150, or.
Yeah, so one of these boxes just sold for $1,600 divided by 24.
Oh, geez.
$66 a pack. Yeah, the box this card comes out of, which is not bad. $66. Crazy. Yeah, I figured I'd paint that picture for you just to kind of. A lot of people don't understand it, but PSA 9's just. So much effing value in Yu-Gi-Oh! Getting PSA 9 old school cards like that, just like this card. I bought this card trooper, similar story, same exact story. Literally, I was willing to pay like I'd probably would have went to $700 to buy this card in a PSA 10. Bought it from somebody for $30 off of Instagram for a PSA 9. Like I'm like, sure, dude, I'll just take the freaking 9.
That's
I guess
amazing.
It's crazy.
Nothing.
There's not a lot of 10s, which is a problem.
I would much rather have that card in the 9 at $30 than this BS that you just put on the screen.
Whoa, dropping the spice in the middle of the show. All right. What's wrong with Uyama, bro?
Uyama's no.
This is like the best Pikachu in the game.
No, not for the win. This card is ridiculous. It is. What? It feels like a meme. It doesn't feel like a Pokemon card. It feels like it's like an inside joke that's like not funny to anyone. Like I do not like this card at all, and I hate that people love it so much and there's so much hype about it. because I can't stand it. I think it's ridiculous. Honestly, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, I love this card to grade it and sell it. It is liquid
Bingo.
as all get out. It's amazing. It is the best thing in the world to sell. I've sold
Mhm.
a 10 and a 9 of this card, and it like instant sale. It's so nice.
People love it. Like
And
absolutely love it.
Because the lines, the lines on the side of the card are all jagged. The centering could completely be effed, and they don't even care. They still give it a 10. So this one, it's like 75-25 at the top, left to right, and it's still a 10. So
yeah,
it's
you can see it looks pretty bad left to right.
It's pretty crazy. No, I think it's cool looking, but $720. I'd hate to be a Pikachu collector. I don't know any, but
So
you got this one?
No, I hate it.
Come on.
I mean, I'm gonna have to buy it at some point because I need it, but I don't want it.
It's pretty low. 720 is like it was $1,000 a year and a half ago.
It's not low enough.
What's your buy-in price for a 10?
150. It'd have to come down a lot, honestly.
So 2037, got it. All right. Could happen. Up next, this one. This is interesting. See if you can kind of. This is really weird. Like Pokemon doesn't have something like this. I don't. Maybe a little bit, but this is a Blue Eyes White Dragon from Legend of Blue Eyes, first ever set, first edition, BGS 9.5, sold for $690. This card is Asian English.
Right.
The entire front of the card looks exactly like the American version. The only difference is that this is Japanese, I believe. I don't even know, but this is in a different language. It doesn't say Konami or whatever, and it literally is a 30th of the regular price. Probably about a 20th at $690. Extremely printed, but
I'd never heard of Asian English before. When you put that up and I was looking at it, I was like, I don't know what that means, but yeah, that makes sense because the back I didn't put two and two together there with the pictures, but that makes sense. So, is it an error?
No. So they were specially produced, mass printed for the first few sets, and they got rarer. So Asian English is extremely rare for like the GX era boxes, which it does a 180. So the Asian English is more expensive than
way more
American English for those later sets. But for these early sets, it's dog crap, which so weird. They look exactly the same on the front, just zero love because it says Asian English and it's Japanese on the back. I think they're undervalued. Not telling people to go buy them and invest in them, but if you wanted a PSA 10 set of Asian English, you're talking fractions of the price for the same type of card, like the same layout, the same hue to the coloring, the same era. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's a badass artwork too. I mean, it looks pretty cool. So that also helps.
Yeah, there's modern Blue Eyes selling for more than that in a PSA 10. Like, it's pretty stupid. Low end. I'll let you lead us into your.
Yeah, I want to know who bought it. I'd be super interested. Who bought it? I mean, gone are the days of big YouTubers doing it for rips and publicity stunt type stuff. I think this is probably someone who is investing, speculating, whatever. I doubt this is someone to add to the collection at this point now, but this kind of price just seems crazy. But yeah, $235. It's a hell of a lot lower than what Logan was paying. Excuse me, for some of his boxes.
Yeah.
there's some banger cards that could be in there, and there's some banger cards that could be in there and not gradable. So
There's some bad ones that could be in there. Yeah, could be a bunch of 8s.
yeah,
Oof. Oof.
there could be some errors. I mean, there's I think that's part of the excitement, right? There's so much opportunity for like you don't really know what's going to happen. Like, could you pull a Charizard? Could you pull something special? Could you? I don't know anything. I mean, there's just we've seen so many different possibilities from first ed and base set. So it seems like I don't know a solid price in terms of what could be in there, but in reality, you're not pulling 237.5 back out of this box, right? It's not going to happen.
Yeah, a quarter milli is steep, but it's right around, I think, the same price Logan Paul paid for the first one he bought off Heritage, which this also is on Heritage, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, no, it's come down.
I thought Z&G was the first one. Was he the first one he bought from a person? Because Z&G told he said
he sold
he
it in person.
specifically said that he sold the first one. So maybe he meant the first out that he bought from people, not from auction.
Yeah, from people. Yeah, Logan's first purchase for sure was Heritage, I believe.
Okay.
And then he went down the rabbit hole, but yeah,
I see.
Pretty positive.
Yes, I mean it's a while ago now, right? It's been a little bit.
It has been. This was pretty insane. I didn't know what was special about this at first. And then I read it. And then I zoomed in. Basically, this is a test print uncut sheet for unlimited base set. 250 sold more than a base set booster box. I've seen, I don't know who bought this. Had to be Rusty. The dude's a freaking dog. I remember one of the recent auctions. It was another like test print sheet that went, and he did like his last bid was like something crazy, 200,000. He went to bed and woke up and he won it or something. But this is a Cosmo Hollow test print sheet. So all these cards look like base set 2 cards minus the base set 2 stamp, which is freaking awesome. It reminds me of the Italian cards and the Dutch cards. They just look freaking nice. And 250 grand. What would you rather have, the box or this?
This for the Hollow, for sure. And you know what you're getting?
Art piece for the wall.
Can you imagine this one? Oh my god, you get a real nice I mean, essentially a slab. I'd have a real nice PVC, covered, like no frame or anything. I'd just get a nice, sharp, clean design protection on it and display it. Yeah, geez, that'd look incredible. Some nice lighting around it, soft lighting, so it doesn't fade. And that Cosmo Hollow would look, anyway you sat in the room, it'd flash at you. I mean, it just looked good. Special. Very, very, very special. I mean, it's hard to put a price on that kind of stuff because it's like, it's just worth what someone's willing to pay, right? It could be a 5 million, it could be 10 grand. I mean, it's just anyway.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, and similar price to this. Even like here's another one. PSA 10. This is an old cert. $212,000. So this sold less than the box, less than that uncut sheet.
Mm-hmm. It's been reholded though, right?
Oh yeah. It's got a brand new holder. Probably graded in 1873. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, again, for English, this is where it all began. I saw this before I ever even knew that there were Japanese cards out there. I was looking at this card back in the playground. So there's a lot of memories attached for this, a lot of emotion attached to this card. It's not just the grade and the picture or the rest of it. There's just so much, like you said earlier, nostalgia and connection. People feel intrinsically like connected. Just there's something there that draws you to it. So that price point, I mean, fantastic, but I think it's going to continue to float around a little bit. I don't think it's ever going to be a static price for this. Really, I don't like when there's been conversations on certain other big cards of like, what's the floor? What's the floor? Like, what's the lowest it could go? Like, I mean, they're just realistically there isn't, right? This could realistically drop to 50 grand. Like people could, just lose interest or already have their copy. The people that would, so many people that have 200 grand to throw on a Charizard. Not that many. No, not many at
but
all.
that number of people is growing every day. I feel like Tommy just got a raise. Steve just got a promotion at his job. He's now making $250K a year. Like, as soon as I'm making $3 million a year, I might think about buying one of these. So give it a couple years.
Yeah, if I won the lottery, I probably would buy one. Yeah, I'd probably buy literally everything I could.
Except for a $750.
It'd be one of the last, and it would be because I have to, and I might even just be a 99% on the registry just because of that one card. I hate it.
Yeah.
You know what other one I hate? There's only two, and I don't hate anyone or anything lightly. Like it takes a lot for me to really hate something. I hate that card, and I hate Unigaba, Pikachu 2, the ridiculous sketch one that they're doing the new EV and evolution setup. Absolutely so dumb, like so ridiculously dumb. Nope, not about it. So those two, I had a Unigaba and I sold it. Those two for me, I'm okay being 99% complete. Honestly,
yeah, I feel you.
Spicy. There you go. There's some spice for you guys.
There you go. You know what this is?
There's some cool cards. Yeah, Tropical Mega Battle. Got a nice little story behind it. A little battle back in the day. Yeah, I mean, fun set. A lot of fun artworks. A lot of really cute artworks in this one. Very light-hearted and has its own little like energy, right? This set, I think that's part of why people are so drawn to it. It just feels a little bit fun.
Yeah, so this deck, I believe there's only 3 or 4 of these created. This is the English Tropical Mega Battle deck with old back Japanese backs. These decks were awarded to the 23 kids participating in 2001. This copy, maybe it's 23 according to this, but I thought it was just 3 or 4 from another video I had listened to with Pikachu. But if it's 23, it would make more sense because I know Gem Mint Pokemon owns one of them.
Yeah, so I thought all of them got. I thought they just auto got one for being in it.
Yeah, that's something I just learned reading that. So 23 of them makes a little bit more sense. I thought if it was 3 or 4 decks, that price would have been way too low for a full deck. But yeah, that's it's hilarious. They got these things. Just look at this friggin' picture they took. It's hilarious. Stuck these boys in sand with like a fake water backdrop because God knows they're in the slap dab middle of Texas. Fake sand, even, like, come on.
I love that.
I appreciate them trying.
I do. I love that.
They probably scratch the crap out of the slabs because they're not even in plastic besides the plastic they're already in. But no, it's a really cool set. I wish some of this existed more populous. I feel like I wish it would be cool to be able to see these and actually have a chance at owning them. That'll never happen. So really cool set. I'm really curious what Gem Min ended up picking his up for. For some reason, I don't think it's 175K, but this set is in really good condition. A lot of 9.5s. Don't think there was any 10s, but really, really good condition. Badass stuff.
Really cool. Yeah. So
this is the first edition Legend of Blue Eyes booster box that sold Heritage Signature Auction recently. It's been at 20 grand for like a year, which is not bad, but you could own the first ever English printed Yu-Gi-Oh set for 20 grand in a booster box setting. It's way easier to pull a Charizard versus a Blue Eyes. there is 6 or 7 ultra rares, and you're guaranteed maybe 2 in a box. So you're looking, maybe you got to crack 3 boxes to get a Blue Eyes. There's a chance you're going to get 2 in a box.
It's worth more than a box, though, right? In a 10.
Yeah, and a 10.
Charizard's worth less than a box in a 10.
Yeah, and a 10 Blue Eyes is probably, I'm speculating, $40,000 now. It was 60, it was higher.
Wow.
I think it peaked at 80, but I think it's probably around 40. People were saying it's around 10, but that was a fake sale on eBay. So, yeah, it's probably right around 40 grand. But it makes sense because you can almost guarantee a Charizard. You get 12 hollows. There's 16 hollows, so you're guaranteed 1 in every 16 packs. So you're really close to getting a Charizard per box versus this one where it's a little bit tougher and there's a lot more gamble going on. Really cool, though.
This would be immensely fun as a Yu-Gi-Oh collector. This would like feel like you've hit the pinnacle, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, and the pinnacle's 20 grand, right? So it's as much as a PSA 9 Charizard first edition right now. It's crazy. Really cool. It's definitely fun. These cards are freaking dope. What are you looking at here, Oak?
Yeah, it's crazy. So I saw this on a YouTube video a few months back, months back, not too long ago. They were talking about it, and yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I think the Hollow's interesting. That they were playing around. I guess they were saying that this is technically the first ever printed Blastoise, like because they were like literally testing how they wanted it to look with the different hollow patterns and stuff. But I don't know if I remember all the facts and stuff that he spit out in that video. Honestly, I don't even remember who it was that I was listening to. But if I was an error collector or like a nuance variation collector or whatever, like, I mean, this would be probably one of the like holy grails, right? This is like got to be one of the biggest. Just not that it's Blastoise, just because of what the actual card is.
Yep. Yeah, I think Rusty has an uncut sheet of it, or maybe somebody else. Maybe he sold one. He had 2. I don't remember, but
I didn't know
the
that.
Disco Hollow patterns. Yeah, because this was cut from an uncut sheet. This is not factory cut. So there's a little bit of not a lot of people not being big fans of CGC for actually grading it. And they don't notate it anywhere on the slab that it's an NFC card. But it is, I don't blame them. I would put it in a slab. Like I would want, like obviously you're going to make sure it's real, which they do. I don't care enough that you're putting NFC cards. Yeah, sure, maybe put it on the back that it's NFC, but most people that are looking to buy this card are going to know what it's from and the history of this card. And of course, it came from a non-factory cut. And so I don't care. I just more so appreciate CGC actually going through, doing the due diligence and making sure it's real. PSA would never touch this with a 13,000-foot pole. BGS probably would. They grade just about everything. I sent them some shoelaces recently from this homeless guy down the street. They're going to put those in a slab for me. But yeah, it's pretty much, they're all over the place. But definitely love this. This thing is freaking awesome. If they had a Zapdos, I would have been bidding on it. For sure. Sure. There's only 3 graded.
There's a few fan favorites that could get some pretty crazy prices, I think.
Yeah, the Blastoise sold for $15K, Venusaur sold for like 5 to 6K, and then Chansey sold for $10K. So I know, and RIP QWA Chansey did not, or Qua Chansey, whatever his name he goes off of. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but he was pretty devastated he wasn't able to pick up the Chansey. And And that's cool. He respects, like, him being a collector of Chansey. He has and sees the respect in what CGC's done, encapsulating this thing, even though it's not from the factory being cut. It's just a piece of history, just encapsulated. It's really cool. Would you buy a Pikachu one if they came through? And there's not a hollow version, but it'd be pretty sick though.
I think I'd be pretty fascinated by it. I think it'd be hard to not want it, honestly.
Even though it's not in a PSA slab, which is your baby. You wouldn't be able to put it on your registry, so is there a point?
You can put CGC cards on your registry, actually.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. You can put any graded company. What you can't do is use it towards like the PSA points, like in their ranking. It has to be their card to like count into their points for the ranking or whatever. But you can add it in and it be part of your collection and add the picture and everything and all that. Yeah, it can definitely be in there in your registry. Yeah. Which is cool. I mean, they recognize that people, some people do have other companies' cards and they want to add it in there to their collection and make sure they've got one of every card. It's not just about the scoring and stuff, and the competitiveness. Like I like that that's in place, but it does feel a bit weird having a CGC card in there. So yeah, I don't know. I think just it'd just be cool, right? It'd just be such an amazing centerpiece having something like that, so unique.
You know what we're looking at here?
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Ridiculous as in too damn cheap, or what are you talking?
$15,000? No, this is way too much. Like, there's so many nice, perfect Pokemon cards that are way cheaper than this that I would love. This is, I mean, I know this. I mean, Mothman is like this one, the Bigfoot. There's a couple of them that are like very desired over or whatever in the Magic community. I think this is probably the biggest one, right? Than some of the other promo type ones. But the Mothman like's got a huge following. But $15,000? No. Mm-mm.
Notice anything different about this Mothman versus the regular Mothman?
Well, I know it's the sample. It's not like a set card, but I don't think there's a true collector base with Metazu yet. I think someone's buying this.
Two people were bidding on it.
I'm trying to be really careful what I say.
It takes two.
I think people in Metazu are in it right now because they're enjoying it, right? And they're playing the game and they're having fun. They like the cards. I don't think it's the same situation as Pokemon where, like, yeah, this is sample, right? But you've got one of one cards, and like Nat a week is selling for $4,500, and this is selling for 15. Like, I just can't. Like, I know the conditions there, and it's the sample hollow and that, but it's Metazu.
Yeah, it's I believe
it's a game to me right now.
Oh no, it's pretty interesting. I never noticed this until just now. I'm going to share it on screen in a second. The sample cards, I think there was 100 of each hollow card produced. So you're talking 100 maximum graded PSA pop 100. This is a perfect 10. The first ever release of this card, even before Kickstarter, which is pretty cool. Perfect 10 probably will never be another one. If there is, that's insane. The print quality is phenomenal at them, but I've opened Metazu and the print quality is not always freaking perfect. So PSA 10, like the booster box of Kickstarter, was selling for $10,000 at one point, and that came after these. Like, this is the disco print Charizard in a perfect 10. Like this is the first one. So
first one of what though? Like it isn't a thing yet. That's the thing for me. Like for Pokemon, you can say it's the first one of this from this IP that's been building for almost 30 years and it's still brand new. Like this is like a game right now that hasn't flourished and become something fully yet. This seems to me incredibly expensive for what it is.
Yeah. No, I think that this card in, say, MetaZoo's around for another 10 years, 15 grand. If MetaZoo is here in 10 years, 15 grand is a steal.
Different story, but it isn't,
Yeah.
right? We're not
Yeah.
there
Right
yet.
now,
That's all I'm saying. I love MetaZoo.
yeah,
I love MetaZoo cards. I got a whole stack of them over here, but I'm not paying 15 grand for one without knowing what it's going to become.
the person who bought it is speculating really hard. But he could, no signs of it quitting. It's not a terrible bet. I've seen worse bets in Vegas, right? But yeah, I thought, and I wanted to mention, seeing this card, I'm like, damn, that thing has shifted far to the left. And then the actual one that came out was centered. And I thought that was pretty interesting. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Oh, they changed it too. Like
One per
spell book, one per spell book. There's a 5 there instead of a 3.
Well, they've reversed the image too, right? You can see the other side slightly up on that side and slightly up on the other side. Looks like they've reversed it.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. Yeah, I've never really looked at the those things that deep, that close. The samples proves to be a sample, though, for sure.
Thanks for the education.
Yeah, we got to learn today, everybody. This is that Chansey, RIP. 10 grand, double the price of Venusaur, which is crazy.
Yeah,
double.
That is crazy to me. Like that seems unconventional.
Yeah, this next thing. Have you ever heard of Nintendo Power Magazine?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
$108,000 magazine. This is the first printing of Nintendo Power, but I can't remember. This is the newsstand edition, so I don't know. I don't remember which one was the first, whether it was the newsstand or the non-newsstand, but I'm guessing it was probably the newsstand based on the price, 9.8. That is the highest grade, essentially, you'll see. You can get 10s in magazines and comics, but it's like non-existent. Just like video games, they have basically the same scale as the comics, which is what CGC was doing with their trading cards for the first 6-7 months. Same scale as their comics, and obviously that backfired and it's changed. But this is awesome. $100,000 for an effing magazine. That's pretty sick. I don't think I've ever seen one sell for that high.
I don't know how it could be a 9.8.
Yeah,
that just makes literally
yeah.
It makes no sense to me how someone at that point in time back in 1988 said, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to literally not touch it for 35 years. Like
Yeah,
it just seems
when it was graded.
I mean, 9.8 is literally untouched. And I'd imagine they've had it pressed. CGC just does what's called a pressing, so you can pay an extra $50 or whatever it is, and they'll press it. So you would have hit a 9.4, but after you press it, because of the wrinkle or something, now it becomes a 9.8. So yeah, it could have been something, and they fixed it up. But 9.8 seems. I find that very difficult to believe there isn't some kind of fade in or I don't know, like ding on an edge or a corner or something like that. Just seems absolutely insane. And I think 108 grand for that being the first copy of such an iconic magazine that's had its fingers on literally every amazing Nintendo game there's ever been. I think that's a solid price. I'm really happy for them. Yeah.
This person graded this. I just scanned the QR code on the back. Shout out to CGC for having operating QR codes. Wada, step your game up. Was graded in November last year, and the dude just 4 months turned that boy into 100 G's. probably sent it straight to Heritage right after grading, because then it went into the signature block, and those happen like quarterly. So
in the queue, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that's very hard to comprehend that he just graded that a few months ago and it hit 9.8 after 35 years. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you can open a pack of Pokemon cards now, and I opened that booster box for Scarlet and Violet. You said the same thing. Like, I didn't get a single one PSA 10 quality. The one card that was closest, and I think it was probably 50% 9, 50% a 10, was the Miriam, or the big hit that I pulled. And I was like, I'm just not going to risk it. Like, I'm not even going to stress and waste my time on it. I'm just going to sell it raw. So I've got it at auction from raw right now.
Dang. Here's a game we've probably all seen. I never knew this was a thing, though. This is a 9.8 A++. Like we had just talked about, 9.8 is essentially the highest grade you'll get out of a video game. 10s are essentially non-existent. A++ is the highest grade you'll get on a seal for a video game. And this is the first do not sell before game. They made 1,000 copies of this with a slip sleeve cover. So there's 1,000 copies that have like a cardboard cover over the game as the first to own promotional copy. So this is.
Can you zoom in on that top left corner, because it looks like it's dinged?
Exact. So that's the thing about these. So the 9.8 is the plastic shell. The A++ is the cellophane around the plastic shell, and on the back of this, it should denote the grade on the cardboard.
Oh,
let me zoom in here.
I
So
see.
It's completely not really relevant. Yeah, slipcover 6.0, and it's like the world's smallest font, right? Because it's more about the cover still being there and intact than the grade on the cover. The cover being there obviously preserved the game to get a 9.8 A++. But yeah, it's definitely dinged. 6.0 is terrible. So it might have a rip or something or a hole in it. But yeah, 36 grand for a game not that old. We're talking Xbox 3 mother effing 60. That's dope. That's freaking dope. This game right here.
Amazing. Yeah, literally right there. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty special. Seems like a strong price.
Yeah. I wish mine was that good. Mine's only a 9.6 A+, but pretty close. Pretty close. Mine's not worth 30 grand or even 10 grand, but really cool. Absolutely love that game. Lots of nostalgia. I think the rest of these are probably games. Here it is for you. Buy it now. Only $15,600 for Pokemon Crystal version.
Amazing. I'd rather just have the cartridge, but yeah, it's literally incredible. One of the most amazing experiences of my life as a kid. Honestly, playing that game, I was obsessed.
I never got a chance to play this one. I played similar to Yellow. I never played Yellow, never played Crystal, never played Emerald.
They were my first two.
Yeah, I know. I played Blue and then Silver and then Sapphire. I'd buy the one, but then I wouldn't buy the trilogy game or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've watched some Nuzlocks and stuff of these games. They slap pretty hard. Would love to own Pokemon games again.
Yeah, going from Yellow to felt like it felt like I was on the moon. Like it just felt like suddenly Pokemon became NASA, and like everything was like just taken to that next level. Crystal felt so ahead of its time, which really it was fairly basic, like what it was that they actually did with it. When it was on Game Boy Color, and not particularly intensely complicated, but what they managed to pack into that little cartridge and like what they managed to do with it. Oh my God, incredible. So 15 grand for that. I mean, for that grade and quality, it's not surprising at all for me. This is so many people's favorite game. So many.
Yeah. Yep. This is something I don't know if I've ever seen before. Game Boy Advance SP Charizard, graded a mint 95, which is really good for like a console. Consoles usually are like token to be like near mint 85s, 85 pluses. $6,600 is an expensive effing Game Boy. Like
Is this the console?
that's insane. Yeah, it's the Game Boy SP. Yep.
I didn't know VGA graded the actual console of it. That's pretty cool.
VGA's like BGS. They grade big box PC games. They grade Xbox systems, PlayStation systems, giant Nintendo systems. They put it in acrylic and grade them for sure. So they grade pretty much everything. So
Sweet.
which is yeah, no, it's I thought it was dope. Japanese release makes sense is why I'd never seen it ever. Really cool though. Let's see what the back looks like real quick. It looks like a freaking red version almost. Yeah, it's pretty sick. It barely looks sealed though, bro. Like what?
Definitely been open.
Oh, Dubsy collection. Oh boy, the dude's selling out. Everybody hold on. We're going down. Interesting. I wonder if that's notated anywhere. I'd be really curious. They left the freaking sticker on there. You could have just peeled that boy off. This is our first. Doesn't even mention it. That's hilarious. Somebody's got a question. What the hell is that? Funny it went on the back of the slab. Oh, I guess he did that for the other ones too. Really cool though. This one getting another 360 game, $4,000 for a 9.6 A plus plus in what I believe is a better looking slab than those Wada ones, but the new Wada ones look pretty fire. So shout out to those guys. I think this is the first print. It's got to be for that price, with that grade. Pretty cool. You ever
Josh,
played that
you know
game?
what I have? Yes, yeah, I did. I had 360. I had pretty much every Call of Duty on it. Honestly, it was the main thing I played on there. Grand Theft Auto. I haven't heard many people talk about cracking and resubmitting games. Is that a thing? Like we do it in cards all the time. I'm not sure if I've ever heard anyone talk about it with game stuff. If I was wanting to hit big on this, I'd want to try and crack and get it in a 9.8. Like, how realistic
Yeah,
do you
it's
think that
tough.
is?
It's tough because WADA and CGC have merely the same grading scale, whereas CGC and PSA light years different. BGS and PSA light years different. The only thing, an opportunity I see cracking things is going from VGA to CGC or WADA. VGA is a lot tougher. So picture VGA is like PSA grading, a lot tougher, harder to get a 9 or a 10. I feel like, and then, or maybe not a 10, but say 9, like a really solid 9. It's really tough to get a PSA, but when you go over to CGC and WADA, it's much easier. Like this is like a 9 grade all day. So you could take like a VGA 85 and that'll cross over to a 9.6 almost seamlessly. And there's a lot of value there
Wow.
sometimes. Yeah, so you could VGA is a lot tougher on their grades. So when you get below those 85 pluses is when it gets a little bit more murky, and you're kind of all over the place. But pretty much an 85 9 point or 85 plus is like really similar to a 9.6 A plus plus or a 9.4 A plus plus or something like that. So that is where you can get the value, but it's costs more money to grade these too. So a lot of people don't want to crack them, take the risk, just trying
Yeah.
to probably flip as fast as they can is kind of the thought.
It's not a cheap play, is it?
Yeah. Let's send it off with the next Pikachu,
Mm.
last one being added to your collection.
Maybe
Tell
one
us all
day.
about it since you only own a couple of these, right?
Yeah, raw.
Raw, just raw. You don't want to grade them.
Yeah, I mean, actual true trophy cards. You know, people refer to it's used as slang a little bit sometimes, trophies, and when it's not actually a true trophy card. But this one is it's a trophy. I mean, you can see it right there. It's Trophy Pikachu. So he's holding one. Generally, he, she, whatever is holding the trophy. So it's kind of indicative of it too. But a bronze, in an 8, hitting for 300 grand. Most people would think that's absolutely, bonkers. It's craziness, but still only one. Right.
Yeah,
So
this outsold the Charizard, the booster box, the uncut sheet, everything. This was the highest selling item in the signature auction. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I didn't really focus on Magic the Gathering in this recap here, but yeah, this was an insane card. Obviously, $300,000 is not cheap. That's a chunky looking chew there too. So
I would imagine this was probably a Japanese buyer taking it back. If I was gonna take a guess.
Do you think they included the plush?
I hope so for that price. I feel like they really did a pretty chill picture compared to some of those other ones. Not too much novelty, I guess, but yeah, it is a cute push with it.
Yeah, I wonder what the requirement is. Like, obviously, they disrespected this thing. The picture is dog bleep. So far away, you got to literally zoom in to see But a lot of these pictures, like this, looks like the default PSA background you can customize nowadays. It's pretty funny, but yeah, the pictures are so random. A lot of white backgrounds.
Yeah, you think. Excuse me. You think it'd be the photo team would just go crazy and be really creative and try and get a little more excitement kind of stuff with it. But the I don't know. The price point is there too, right? You put in a photo team in charge of millions and millions of dollars of incredibly sensitive, high value items.
Yeah. Yep.
Probably need a security team there, right? When they're doing that kind of stuff, I would imagine just some level of security. I mean, I would sure want it if I was selling stuff in that situation.
Yep.
But yeah, there were some good ones to review. I enjoyed that, going through those. Definitely. Excuse me. Definitely some high value there, right? So and some high spend in the market. It just shows that there's still going strong. There's still people out there that are willing to throw millions and millions of dollars at just a few items. So
yeah, it's awesome. Everybody, again, just let us know what you think of this type of content. The first time we've done it, but we really wanted to do this kind of when we were starting the podcast. We wanted to kind of do some recaps on stuff, and we might, I don't know, probably just do this for some of the bigger auctions when they end. And it'll be nice. PWCC is now doing a monthly signature for just trading cards, so that'll be nice. But yeah, let us know if you like this type of content, and everybody go down there, like a spicy comment, post one of yourself. We'd appreciate it. We love reading them, and appreciate all the love and support. So appreciate you guys.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Peace.